Okay, this is an example of a technique that John Frawley teaches in his natal course, the prenatal eclipse. He says we should look at the prenatal eclipse, compare it, not judge it, compare it with the natal chart, looking for points of contact. These points of contact, the reasoning is that the eclipse is a throwing of seeds, and the natal chart, the points that make contact with this eclipse, with these seeds, are the points that have more energy, more oomph to it. So if the person is to be a notable or famous, they will probably be notable or famous for things associated with these points. And I've chosen Tom Waits' chart because I'm using it for a couple of things in my natal course. And this is the previous eclipse for him. I just wanted to say a few things about it before I mention the comparison. This is a solar eclipse. John says that when two eclipses come closely together, he doesn't use this word as far as I remember, but I'll use it, when they are from the same lunar cycle, not eclipse cycle, not anything like that, but from the same lunar cycle. We should use the solar. When they are not, we should use the last previous eclipse. And I wanted to clarify a bit on that. What is an eclipse? Well, forget everything you know about it from the astronomy viewpoint. What I'm going to say will be translated into the astrology worldview, astrology cosmological view. An eclipse is a conjunction or an opposition between the sun and the moon, close to the ecliptic. The sun is always on the ecliptic, but the moon is not always so. She can be far from it. When she is sufficiently far from the ecliptic, from 0 latitude, we have a full moon or a new moon, because their bodies do not align. So we have a full moon. It is opposed to the sun and totally brightened by it, totally illuminated by it. Or we have a full moon. She's too close to the sun, so she has no light. But if she is close enough to 0 latitude, to the ecliptic, to the path of the sun, their bodies match. So in a conjunction, the body of the moon goes in front of the body of the sun. We have a solar eclipse. In an opposition, the bodies at opposing points with the earth in between them. So the earth casts a shadow over the moon. We have a lunar eclipse. So this conjunction or opposition must happen when the moon is close to the ecliptic, to descend the yearly path of the sun across the sky. And the points in which the moon crosses this path are called the nodes. This is what they are. They are the places in the sky in which the moon's path crosses the sun's path. So here we have a sun-moon conjunction around 13 degrees after the node. These opposition and conjunctions will happen again. They happen twice each lunar cycle because they are the beginning / end, the conjunction of the cycle, and the very middle of it, the opposition. But not all of them will happen close to a node, or in the case of the opposition, close to both the nodes. Sometimes this conjunction here will be an eclipse, and then the sun will move a bit, the moon will move a lot, and there will be a full moon a bit later. But this full moon will be too far from the nodes, so it will not be an eclipse. But imagine that the nodes are here, or here. Imagine the south node is here. When this full moon happens, it will still be too close to a node or to both the nodes to ensure this is also an eclipse. That's when two eclipses happen less than 40 days apart, a lunar and a solar eclipse. In this case, in Tom's Wade's case, it doesn't matter because there was another eclipse in the same cycle of the moon, but it was before this one. There was a there was a partial lunar eclipse when the sun was in 13 Libra. The moon was around 13 Libra here. It happened a bit before the nodes, but it could be the other way. So in this case, if it happens, a solar eclipse happens a bit before the nodes and a lunar a bit after the nodes, use the solar. If the eclipses are not related in this way, they are from different lunar cycles, use the closest to the birth chart, right? A last point. Don't forget to search online. Wikipedia has a good list of that. The maximum occultation time. That's the moment you should cast the chart for. Not when the opposition or the conjunction are exact to the same degree, are perfect, and not when one of them is exactly conjunct one of the nodes. This is not an easy calculation to do by yourself, but this configuration is the time when the eclipse is stronger in the sky, because we have 3 points or 3 variables involved in this. In fact, 2 variables: the distance between the sun and the moon, and their distance from the nodes. When these are conjugated at the right time, the eclipse is stronger. So don't try to calculate it or ask your astronomer friends to do it for you. Just get the list on Wikipedia or in any other site, and don't forget to use it. So this video is already too long, but it's okay because the actual comparison is fast. Frawley emphasizes this point very clearly. It should not be complicated. We should never try to judge the eclipse. We just compare both charts and see things that hit, things here in this chart that hit the eclipse, right? And this eclipse happened a month, almost 2 months, not almost a month, a month and a bit before the birth chart. So it's enough time for everything to have moved. If you see here, even Saturn has moved enough. Okay, so let's compare it. It's on the limit of relevance, but I think we should include here. The first point is this Jupiter-Venus conjunction hits the ascendant. It's 3 degrees and a bit. It's on the verge, on the outermost bound of relevance, but let's include it here. Mercury in the eclipse, it's in 10 Libra. It is hit by the ascendant, and it's also hit by Saturn by intuition. Saturn is in 9 Aries, Mercury is in 10 Libra, so Mercury is the eclipse Mercury emphasizes the midheaven and Saturn. The Sun hits Venus, so Venus emphasizes the Sun. And Mercury and the ascendant here hit the eclipse Jupiter, so Jupiter emphasizes them. So forget about the eclipse now. What we have here is that this conjunction, this guy here, and the midheaven, the Sun, and this Mercury ascendant conjunction are the points emphasized by the eclipse. So if this guy is going to be famous, he's going to be famous for those things. I totally get that the midheaven is hard to pinpoint because it's associated with career and action in the world. So yes, that's probably the outlet, or one of the most common gates into which fame comes into our lives, or the outlet through which we live ourselves to enter fame. But Saturn is not that common a thing. It could mean Saturn as the second house, yes, the second house ruler, but it could mean Saturn, this Saturn here, conjunct Mars and in Virgo. Weird Saturn stuff, and active, energetic, weird Saturn stuff. Or as Tom Waits would say in one of his songs, the swordfish trombone. I can't help but remember his weird songs. Um, the Sun. In Tom Waits' chart, it doesn't rule any house. So it's the Sun as the Sun, solar things. It's also a bit hard to delineate. The Sun is too general. Leadership, prominence, light, him as man. It's hard to pinpoint what does it mean. Uh, and I do not pretend that every point, and this is an eclipse that hits many points, that all the points will be evident in the life of the person. The person might choose not to use them. But the last emphasized point, this Mercury on the ascendant, it could mean many things, right? Mercury rules the sixth house, Mercury rules the ninth house. It could be Mercury as articulation, Mercury as a lot of things. But this is Tom Waits. We know how it manifested. He embodied this Mercury on his ascendant as his public persona. He's known for that. It's such a distinctive persona. Everybody knows that Heath Ledger modeled his Joker, which is also an obviously mercurial character, on his image. On an interview he gave in Australia, I think, a long time ago. And from what I've read on Wikipedia, he's this persona is a consciously constructed persona. He's not like that at home with his friends, but he's certainly like that in public appearances and in his shows. So I'm not going to try to delineate his chart here in depth and try to articulate those points, but in short, the, the eclipse, uh, I'm sorry, I keep mispronouncing this word, uh, emphasizes this Jupiter-Venus conjunction in Aquarius, conjunct the star Altair, or Altair, as most of you pronounce it, the most important star of the eagle. It emphasizes the midheaven and Saturn, this Virgo Saturn conjunct Mars. It emphasizes the Sun, and speaking of stars, the Sun will be a bit less difficult to delineate if you remember it is conjunct Ras Al Gheti, the head of Hercules. And last but not least, definitely not least, it emphasizes Mercury and the ascendant. This Mercury in its all detriment in the mutable fire sign, conjunct Shaula or Leseth, one of those nasty stars at the tip of Scorpio's tail. I don't remember which one now. So that's it. I hope you liked it. And I hope you learn anything from it. Something from it, I'm sorry.